Good morning or good afternoon, whichever time of day it is, and welcome back to Coach K's Math Corner, and an exciting moment with Coach K and his enthusiasm. Whew. Our concept today that we're going to talk about is converting or changing fractions to decimals to percent. And that is our objective, to be able to convert or change. All right? You should get graphic organizer number 3, and it should look just like this one right here, and get it out of the mailbox where all the other organizers and assignments are at. As a math student, you will be able to convert from a decimal or a fraction to a percent, and from a fraction to a percent to a decimal. And this is a state standard. This is what we have to learn. Not know, but learn. Okay? Learning to go from halves, thirds, fourths, fifths, eighths, and tenths to a decimal, that's equal, and to a percent, that is equal to it. All right, here's some steps. 1 and 2 are just like, how do I go from a decimal to a percent, and how do I go from a percent to a decimal? Well, if I go from a decimal to percent, I'm going to move my decimal point 2 spaces to the right. And I'm going to add a percent symbol. But if I go from a percent to a decimal, I'm going to drop the percent sign and move the decimal point left 2 places. 3, from a fraction to a percent, convert to a decimal first, and then follow rules 1 and 2, or steps 1 and 2. All right? Well, before we go on, let's talk about the word percent. It means parts per 100, or a ratio that means out of 100. This symbol, percent symbol right here that you see, it's just a mixed up 100. Here are the zeros, and between it is a line. That's a 1. So I always look at it as a scrambled 100. That helps me remember what percent means, out of 100. Okay, here we go. Our first example, ladies and gentlemen, is 12/20ths. Now, here we go. We're going to divide 12 by 20. It looks like this. And I'm going to put a 0. I can't take 20 into 1, and I can't take 20 into 12. So I'm going to put zeros up there. I'm going to put my decimal point up there, and I'm going to take 20 into 12 going 6 times. And I say, hey, you know what? Maybe I ought to put a 0 up there, because, you know, this equals this. Now, so I got my fraction, 12 out of 20, and I really should write it in simplest form. You know what I mean? So if I simplify this, I'm going to divide them both by 4, and I'm going to get 3/5. So really, I'm talking about 3/5 equals the decimal 6/10 or 60 hundredths equals 60%. Remember, we're going to move the decimal point twice to the right, going from decimal to percent, and add a 0, and add the percent sign at the end. All right? All right, here we go. Next part. I got to keep moving. And the next one is 4/5. So we're going to divide. Mr. Coleman, you keep messing up like that all the time. You got to stop that. So we're going to divide 4 by 5. Remember? All right. Add a 0 and a decimal point 0. I mean, bring the decimal point up. 4 goes divided by 5 goes 0 times. 40 divided by 5 is 8. It's 8/10, or we can write it as 80 hundredths. Okay? So we have 4/5 equals 8/10 or 80 hundredths equals 80%. Remember, move the decimal point once, twice. No number there, add a 0. And add, just like this, percent at the end, 80%. All right? Hey, awesome. Here we go. Next step, number 3. Here we are, number 3, 65 hundredths. All right? Well, I notice that there are 2 decimal places after the decimal point. So you know what? I know that this is the same as this. 2 decimal places, 2 zeros. If I divide them both by 5, all right, both by 5, ugly decimal or division signs, I know. 65 divided by 5 is 13, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. That's my decimal, or my fraction, I mean. The percent is, let's see, I'm going to write it down here so I have a little bit more room. Here's the decimal. Remember, decimal to percent go 1, 2, equals 65%. So we have decimal, fraction, percent. Fractions should always be in simplest form. Okay? Here is the next one. We've got example 4. Oh, this is a 1 and 2500ths. So that would be this. We're going to say 1 and 2500ths. This is one way to write it. There are other ways, and I choose to write it this way so that I can demonstrate that there is a whole number involved. So I have 1. Now 2500ths, you can divide them both by 25, and 25 divided by 25, and 100 divided by 25. Okay, that would be 25 divided by 25 is 1, 100 divided by 25 is 4. So really we have 1 and 2500th equals 1 and 1/4 as a fraction equals. What's our percent? Well, here we go. Move it twice to the right and add a percent sign. So it would be this, 125%, because this is a mixed number that's greater than 1. Our percent needs to be greater than 100%. Now remember, your objective is to be able to convert back and forth. All right, so here we go. Here's 75%. 75%. Oh, Mr. Coleman, you do this every single time. I don't know why you get so excited to write. 75% looks like this as a fraction. So we divide them both by 25, and guess what? Divide them both by 25, we get 3/4. Right? 75% means that we are going to take the percent sign away, like this, take it away. Our decimal point's there because we don't see it, so it's on the right. So it's 1, 2, put the decimal point there, add a 0. So we got percent, fraction, decimal. All right, here we go, example number 6, 800ths. We write it like this as a decimal. As a percent, remember, 1, 2, and it is 8%. That was pretty easy. That was easier than the others. All righty, here we go. Oh, this one. Now, I notice that this one has 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to write it. 175, and my denominator is 1,000. 3 decimal places, 3 zeros. I can divide both of these by 25. And if I divide 175 by 25, I get 7. 1,000 divided by 25, 40. Simplified answer, yes it is, because 7 is prime and it's not a factor of 40. So I have my decimal. I have this. Where's my percent? Oh, let's write it. Here we go. How many spaces? 1 to the right, 2 to the right. Answer, 17.5%, or 17.5. All right? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Here we go. We got, did we do them all? Here we are. Here's your independent time. Go to work right now, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll come back and I'll demonstrate what you got to do. Pause it right now. Go. Pause. Pause. Stop it. Pause. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Here we go. Let's write it 2 different ways. Why do I do that? I get so excited. 55% means I have 55 out of 100. Simplest form. Divide them both by 5. Yeah, by 5. Here we go. And it's 11/20. How do I write it as a decimal? Well, remember, drop the percent, move it back twice, so it looks like this. And I'm going to have to erase some things. After I'm done with this, I'm going to have to erase so I can put the other 2 in. So I have it like this. I have 55%. My decimal's there. 1, 2. Going backwards. So it's actually equal to 0.55. 5500ths, okay? Get that written down, or stop the video and pick it up and get it done. All right, so I'm going to erase it. All right, erase it so I can get the others in. Good job, Mr. Coleman. All right, here we go. Next one. It's 4200ths, so I'm going to write 42 over 100. I know I can divide them both by 2, and so actually this is going to be, divided by 2 would be 21/50. It's my fraction, simplest form. Percent goes like this. 1, 2. Right there. 42%. Yeah? All right. Got it. Let's erase it. Go to the next one. I don't want that. Go to the next one. It's going to be a little longer video today, ladies and gentlemen. As much as I try to go a little faster, it just takes time. 18/25. Well, I'm going to divide 25 into 18. That goes 0 times. At a decimal point, it's going to go, let's see, what is that? 7 times. That's 175. I subtract. I get a 5, add a 0. 50 divided by 25 is 2. So my decimal, my fraction, my decimal is 72/100ths. My percent, remember, percent to decimal? Sorry, decimal to percent. Move it twice to the right and add a percent sign. 72%. There we go. 1, right here, right here, right here. We got fraction, decimal, percent. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. Here we go. You're on to another exciting moment with Coach K in his Math Corner, and let's get to the exit ticket. All right, here are the first two. You're going to have to go to the next screen to get the next two, and actually the next one, as you see here. You know, do number 4, do the best you can at it. Let's see what you come up with. Try. My thinking is I don't want you to use anything I've demonstrated. Bring up your own. Write down your own idea of what you want to put. And it's got to be greater than 1/10. Okay? All right. Hey, congratulations. You finished it, and Mr. Coleman's going to be done in less than 12 minutes. And I'm so sorry that I had to go on and on and on. Forgive me. But I'm just like the Energized Bunny Rabbit. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. You are done.